watching me. I was a born entertainer. You see, you should have seen me at 17. But look at me now, look at me now, look at me now, look at me now, look at me now. Or something missing that makes me feel the light. Now I sing my dull amen to the adult light made permanent. Do you believe your God in Jesus? Were you once 17? The television is watching. Me, I was a born entertainer. You see, you should have seen me at 17. Look at me now. Look at me now. scared of the ghosts living in my head. That lay lonely in the dirt. That lay lonely in the dirt until I found a road. I wish I was a shark, so I'd never know what it feels like to start, knowing there was motion once before. I wish I was a shark, so I'd never know what it would feel like to start, knowing there was motion once before. Oh, how I wish I'd never found you in the cold. Oh, but the deadly sirens always walk alone. Mama said the hammerheads will break your heart. Forget about you, move along. I wish I was a shark. I smell blood. I smell blood. I smell blood in the wood. But is it mine? But is it mine? Is it mine? And an old is fresh, the bed is made. You left your life, forgot his name. You even cried, dream filthy dreams, and smile a smile, so razor clean. I pray that I'm not prey. Something in the way, a beast that must keep moving, hunger that can never go away. Oh, how I wish I'd never found you in the cold. Oh, but the deadly sirens always walk alone. Mama said the hammerheads will break your heart. Forget about you, move along. I wish I was a shark. wanna say goodbye like this. I'm watching as your face begins to fade. The last 6 months are waiting with its engine on. Our ugly rebounds waiting in their cage. So meet me on the bridge. We'll hand over our hostages, a fake silver ring, your books in foreign languages. You can keep the code, it looks better on you. Anyway, I'm fine, I guess the cold's a state of mind. And two others met, two strangers left. You say I'm dead on the inside, babe, I've known that for a while. And it wasn't like you liked me for my sunny views on life. Oh, I'm dead on the inside, babe, I've known that all along. Anytime I tried to love you, I got it wrong. So meet me on the bridge, we'll hand over our hostages, your dad's broken watch, a letter to your old address. You just stay so cool, it looks better on you. Anyway, I'm fine, I guess, alone to state of mind. And two others met, two strangers left. You say I'm dead on the inside, babe, I've known that for a while. And it wasn't like you liked me for my sunny views on life. Oh, I'm dead on the inside, babe, I've known that all along. Well, anytime I tried to love you, I got it wrong. Meet me on the bridge, we'll hand over our hostages, one final fizz before we're just acquaintances. This is how we die, become just you and I. You turn around and smile one fine time. You were just a state of mind. Two others met, two strangers left. Thank you.
Who's the singer?
Kind of me, but we all sing these days. None of us can
Yeah,
shut up for long enough.
No, and who's the writer?
Again, both of us at the moment.
Yes.
Like the first album, the first album I'd say was sort of like mostly written by me, and this second album is shaping up to be a lot more co-written. We were just saying Human Contact is the stupidest name for an album in modern times.
No, but because of the pandemic.
Because of the pandemic and because everyone feels very far apart these days. But the thing that it looked very likely that the band was going to end in 2020. It looked like we were just going to have to give up. We all had to our government told us to retrain.
Oh.
They sent messages.
And what were you going to be?
I still haven't decided yet.
Because you're both academics.
Well, I did go to university, but I did English and philosophy, which makes me permanently unemployable. So just like forever, I can just sort of lay waste. But
and you, what did you?
I do illustration as well.
Okay.
But I didn't, not academically, I just taught myself.
Okay.
Yeah, but we were going to give everything up, I guess, a couple of years ago. And then the only thing that brought us back was working with other people. So I started writing with a bunch of other people. And then finally, we sort of like had the conversation where it was like, maybe we should give this whole band thing another go. And then the tour dates started looking like they weren't going to get cancelled for the 5th time or something like that. So we were like, okay, we can actually come back to the Netherlands. We can come back to Germany. We can finally play in Belgium and things like that. And we were like, okay, there's some reason there. And then we started writing some more songs, which we'll play tonight.
Have you been playing lots of new songs during this tour?
We've been playing at least 2 new songs every night. I think there'll be a few in every set that people won't know because they may be older or unreleased or things like that. But we've got 2 songs that will almost definitely be on album 2 that we haven't recorded yet. We're trying them out. Who knows what will happen tonight? No. Maybe we'll improvise the whole album.
And the album is due?
No, well, so we need to finish the writing of it. I'd say we've written half of it.
We're like on a roll at the minute. We do it like me and Sam go up to the studio, try and do at least a couple of days. Feel tight, you holding that. Try and at least do a couple of days a week, minimum of just writing, and it feels like we always come away with something we're both pretty excited about at the minute. So we're just trying to keep that going.
And where do you find your material?
As in inspiration for it?
Is it a lyrical idea or a melodic idea?
Absolutely everything.
And you record it, as we all do today, on the iPad? Or?
Not as well. We tend to record it into whatever is the closest possible thing. iPhone's the classic because you've always got it with you. But we've got a new song called "No Calories in Cocaine," which was written in. We were having a conversation in the garden at Strensel, and then I was I said it, and I said the words, and then it's kind of weird because that was in the first couple of weeks of me being back to just be like, oh wait, no, I really like writing songs, and you have to kind of be a bit rude in social situations because you have to run off and you just be like, can no one disturb me for like 30 minutes, and you feel like a really pretentious asshole, but like I am. And I'm embracing being a pretentious arsehole. And that's the thing that I think is rescuing the music, becoming a pretentious arsehole, but not caring about it. So, yeah, that was written in about 10 minutes, I think. Okay. And then we lay about for months working out if it was good. And then we were like, it is. Just leave it.
Some ideas really make it fast to the album then.
Straight away. And then we've got some songs that are taking months, years to write. We've got some ideas that are lying about since before album 1 that are now being finished. Some ideas that were turned into one thing and then are now being transformed into something else. It's strange because it's like finishing something is such a difficult thing because you never know when something's finished. No. There's no like a guy waving a flag at the end and there's no one shooting a pistol at like, you feel like you know when it's the end, but people like Bob Dylan are constantly disproving that, aren't they? There's just like that guy never finishes a song and he's constantly changing it.
Well, that's the same with painting also. When is a painting finished?
Exactly.
When's
our album finished?
When comes the moment that anything you add makes it less
I think you have to get to a point where you accept that it's a representation of a period of time. Because you'll always look back at something and go, oh, it could be better in this way or it could be better in that way. But you just have to think of it as like a little marker, stick your flag in the ground and go, that was then.
And hope you make a demo? Mm-hmm. How far away do you get from the demo?
Well, it's hard to say. I think part of the way that we've discussed a lot of this new album and the way that we want to do it is stick closer to the demo and kind of not overthink stuff too much, So, whereas the first album, not that some songs are quite close to it, some songs are really different, and we have a sometimes good, but a lot of the time bad tendency to really like overthink or marinate on stuff for far too long. Whereas we're a lot more interested in just being like,
but gradually songs will change when you're playing.
I think a big thing's playing them live.
Yes,
like you should go out and play them live before.
Is there a very big difference between the album Human Contact and the way you play it live?
Yeah, it's better live.
So, I think
so.
No,
genuinely, like that's part of the reason we want to record this next album in more of a live format.
Sort of the first album we wrote, not quite in isolation because it was done before COVID, but we wrote so much of it in the studio that we then had to spend such a long time trying to work out how to get the recorded stuff to sound live. And then this time round, we're kind of reversing that. So now we really enjoy our live performances. We really enjoy the sort of intensity of it. And we're now trying to replicate that on record. We're trying to capture it.
You just reverse the idea. Yeah.
Do something different as well, because you don't want to stay the same each album. Even in writing, when you were saying about when is it finished and stuff, we were like, we've joked about, but it's quite true. We could do, with the amount of songs we write and the different styles, we've got a pop album in us, an electronic album, a rock album,
We've got a post-punk album somewhere down the line. Got spoken word stuff.
It's all in there, isn't it?
It's all. It might be awful, but it's all there.
It's all there.
It might be terrible, but we're willing to take that risk.
I just want to fast forward to the greatest hits one, miss out all of that.
Maybe the next album, just greatest hits.
Yeah. But I would say, like in all art, there is a certain amount of duality in it, ambiguous even.
I hope so.
Yeah, there is always light and also in very melancholic songs.
It's really I.
There's always a light shining in.
There hopefully is, because you listen to some songs, and some of my favourite songs are the darkest songs, but you realise the only reason that you like them is because there's just that inch of light. There's that one tiny strand of light. Because I think if it were total darkness, there's sort of no way in. You can't really find a way to enjoy a song.
Like Leonard Cohen said, that's how the light gets.
That's how the light gets.
This sounds really weird, but I really think of it like, you know when you get salted caramel?
Yeah.
But the salt makes it taste sweeter.
Yeah.
But you have to have it in. That's how I think of it, genuinely.
That's a
He's a
good
great
way of
chef.
putting it. That's a good, yeah.
He's a
You
great
are?
So, you
Are
know,
you?
like how yeah, that's how I think of it. Anyway.
What's more important, being perfect or being truthful?
Truthful.
Oh, being imperfect.
Oh, yes?
Absolutely. Showing your flaws, like, is every artist I listen to is deeply flawed.
But that's I think the problem being in the studio, because you have the opportunity to make it so polished.
Yeah.
That's where we fall over.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Like, you know, the Stooges' first album was recorded in 3 hours.
Yeah.
There are some.
You know,
Some
there's
of the
a-
best ideas were.
Exactly, you know. Someone said to me the other day, the same bad ideas come in the same amount of time as the best ideas. I think that's totally true, and that also happens in a performance. A bad performance happens in the same amount of time as a good performance, but you know, it depends on how you see it, and you can overthink things until you know they're dead in the ground. But trying to capture the immediacy of an idea is usually done in the very early stages of it. So when we listen to a demo of a new song, of one of our old songs, anything like that, the best idea is the very first take.
It is?
It's when you're
The initial idea.
when you're so excited about something that you've written that you're like, fuck, I can't believe I've fucking written something like this. And then, and I know that sounds vainglorious, but I don't care. It's like because you're like a fan, you're making something, and then writing. It's new to you, and writing is like, this is really cool. What comes next? I can't wait to hear what comes next. And then you write the next thing. It's like, whoa, this guy rocks. And you're talking about yourself, but you're talking about like the author and the listener at the same time. And the author and the listener have got to be like, whoa, this is, you enjoying this? Oh, I'm here for this. That sounds fucking cool as fuck. And then you do that for like 3 minutes and 12 seconds.
Yeah, that's the essence.
Yes.
It's obviously the truest sense of the whatever emotion you're trying to get across. You probably felt that the most right at the beginning when you just wrote it, you know. Like Sam wrote, it's like we have a Dropbox that we share stuff on, and so we can both listen to stuff. And he was like, well, we have a folder each month that we put our ideas in. And I was going through it, listening to one, and I literally just had to text him straight away and was like, are you all right, mate? But because it was so sad, this demo, but so good. But I was straight away text you being
But
like...
sad songs have the tendency to make you feel good.
Exactly, yeah. But
We've
it
added
was,
the light.
but because of...
Yeah.
Oh, no, we have.
Not sheer misery.
I just mean the emotion of that, because it was such an early take of that tune. I could hear it. So I was like... And I straight away was like, are you okay? Yeah. Also, let's work on that song.
Oh, yeah. There are bridges, a lot of bridges in your music. Huh? Is that like
burn them all the time.
Is that like a metaphorical bridge, or?
I think one, I like the word, I like the word bridge in English. I think it's a beautiful word. And yeah,
It connects to
it's symbolism of unity and things like that. Also, I just love the way accidents can form a sort of accidental ethos for an entire band. And like because people come up to us after the show. We did this show at like the first time we ever played Paradiso. A guy came up to us. No, he was shouting from the audience. What was he saying? Like who's?
Misheard a lyric.
Oh.
Who's Lana?
Someone, yeah.
And I was like, I don't know who you're talking about, but the fact that you're so mystified about an imaginary person in a misheard lyric just gives the song new life to me. I love that. I love that he's misheard something, and it's like it's ripping him apart so much that he'd shout halfway through the set, "Who's Cara Mooney? Who's Cara Mooney? Who's Cara Mooney?" And it's like, oh, that person doesn't
But that
exist.
means
You've misheard
it's no
it.
longer your song.
I was just going to say...
But maybe that is the exact point where a song is finished. As soon as someone else has heard it and then put their own interpretation of
It
it.
becomes their song.
It's not yours.
Song, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And that's a good thing.
Are you more of a touring band or more of a studio band? What would you say?
Currently touring, but I don't think it has to stay that way.
I think COVID has sort of redefined what a band can be. Every band is going to have a bunch of different jobs. Every musician, every artist, in every sense of the word, is going to have a bunch of different jobs these days. I think they kind of always have. And I was reading an interesting article about this, saying people like, even Nick Cave did modelling and movies to make his way through. And I think of him as like one of the most successful musicians on the planet. But that dude was still a writer. He was still a poet. He was still an artist, an actor, a model, and all these other things. So I know that does kind of sound like the dream life, but hey, if we have to tour to make a living and then in our downtime work in our other jobs to make that work, the joy of being out here, like I say, it's been a difficult couple of years, but as soon as we stood on the stage, especially last night, Utrecht was really good. We did a really fun gig in Utrecht last night, and I was just like, oh yeah, we do this.
I'm doing all the stuff we've done today, even, coming up, meeting you, chatting up here, doing the session. It's all fun. You get to meet people all the time. You get to see places you might not see otherwise. You get to...
But enriching you.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Definitely, you always come back feeling... the first day this is only a 3-day tour. From a long tour, the first day you're back, you feel a lot worse than when you left. But then after that, once you've got some vegetables in you, then you feel like, right, I'm a fulfilled person again now,
Yeah.
But it's not that we don't like being in the studio, we do, but I feel we really come into our own as a live band.
And when you are touring, are you listening to the same music? Or is there
As in,
music,
each other,
or is everybody just listening on...
we recommend stuff to each other all the time.
It depends very importantly on the time of day. If the gig's gone well and we're driving back, last night it's Bat Out of Hell, Paul McCartney. It's the Grand Theft Auto San Andreas soundtracks, the rock radio stations from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and Sugar Hill Gang. For some reason, it's usually quite pumping stuff, but then say it's like midday, something like that. Everyone's very much on their own. People are reading books. There's like Connor's making pasta in the back. It's like he's there grinding away. It's like Drew, our sound engineer, is like he's throwing. But
is that also the way you got together as a bunch of friends? Is that what you were actually?
Yeah. And how we met, we met in bars and pubs in York doing open mics and folk nights and things like that.
That's great.
Playing a bunch of weird little songs to each other, yeah.
That's one thing when you were talking about the Leonard Cohen thing and asking then what kind of music and stuff we're listening to. We listen to, obviously, between us, loads of different stuff. And individually, just tons of different stuff. But the absolute fundamentals that we all like bonded over are Bob Dylan, Leonard Cohen, the greats.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when the song is at the forefront, they're just the best, And
what will be the next thing happening? Will you be going home and then preparing the album, or will
that's
you be...
the plan, yeah. So I think, don't hold me to this. I think we'd like to try and record it before the end of the year.
Okay.
I'm looking at you for confirmation.
No, I would love
Ambitious.
Exactly, yeah. Well, we've written, I reckon, just over half of the album, and I think we've got the rest in the ideas that we've got. And then if we can record it before the end of the year, that means that we can get on tour within the new year, January, February, March, something like that, leading up to an album release in summer. And then we can play every festival under the sun, and then we'll tour until we die.
We'll never see our homes again.
I was going to say I'm looking forward to it, but not. But we're looking
Comes to
forward
us
to seeing
all,
you.
mate.
We'll die on stage like Tommy Cooper, but
great.
in like 2096. Yeah.
That would be fantastic. Just to. Well, but thanks talking to you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Nice.
Thanks.